Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Commissioner's Office. My name is Austin Elliott, and I am lucky and proud to be your commissioner. Week 7 in the NFL, we saw a lot of exciting games. Saw the Lions drop another one to Minnesota at home. Very upsetting game. Things aren't looking great for them right now, but they're going to turn it around. They're going to bounce back hard. Don't sleep on these guys. I'm telling you, they're something special this year. Season's not over. It's a long season. Everything will be taken care of. Don't worry. You'll see these guys come late in the season in the playoffs. Really exciting matchups. We had some big things happen in fantasy. A lot of shakeups. Teams moving all around the power rankings, so I'm excited to give you those. First off, let's jump right into the matchups. Once again, this was the East versus the West week. Nobody in the same division was playing each other, so we will see what division came out on top. In the first game, we had the Y-Town Killer Bees facing off against the Mud Dogs, and down goes the Mud Dogs for the second week in a row, I believe, losing 108-95. Y-Town really rolling with Eckler and Fournette. They're strong players for him, putting up points and getting him wins when he needs. So toss up 1 point for the East Division in that matchup. Second matchup of the week, we had 50 Shades of Slay facing off against Southern Justice. Once again, 50 Shades of Slay was winless going into this game. I called it in last week's video. Congrats to me. They got their win pretty big here. Won by over 20 points, so congratulations, Anton. I know that you haven't done much right this season, but hey, this week you got to win. Congratulations. Go celebrate. Southern Justice not looking good right now. Their quarterback situation is not hot. Nobody on that team is healthy, so disappointing for them. But that ties it up at 1-1 in the division race. Third game of the week, we had the shirtless Pete Carrolls taking on Inglorious Staffords, and Inglorious Staffords got the job done Monday night thanks to Julian Edelman. Ended up winning by 7 points. Russell Wilson and Ezekiel Elliott was not enough for the shirtless Pete Carrolls. A little bit disappointed to see them drop another one, but good win for Tyler there. That brings our total to 2 wins for the East and 1 for the West. Fourth game of the week, we had Team USA facing Outer Space We Don't Kneel. This was a tough one because Outer Space was down a lot of players on a bye, including their top scorer and one of the best players in fantasy this year in Christian McCaffrey. With him being out, Outer Space was only able to put up 88 points. This is a high-octane team. They put up points on points, so really disappointing to see that for them. Dalvin Cook and Stephon Diggs really burned the Lions, and they helped out Team USA in that game. And congratulations, USA. You took down a top dog for the second week in a row. Outer Space We Don't Kneel goes down, which ties us up at 2 games apiece for the East and the West Division. For the tiebreaker to see who settled it, we had Patricia Militia going in to take on Hotel Motel Galladay Inn, and the Militia get the job done behind Marvin Jones Jr. and his 4 touchdown games, putting up over 40 points for the Militia. It was a really exciting game. Hotel Motel, 2 weeks ago they said that they had 2 cupcake games coming up against Inglorious Staffords and Patricia Militia. They were very confident and said they're going to steamroll those teams and still be undefeated, but not so fast. 2 losses in a row, and things aren't looking too great for Hotel Motel Galladay Inn as they are slipping. So the East Division ended up coming out on top. I know a lot of people are saying that the East Division doesn't have what it takes and wouldn't be able to compete in the West. But hey, look at what happened this week. We came out on top 3-2. They were exciting games. I really like this week, and I think the East is the strongest division according to what happened this week. Let's get into the power rankings. Power rankings, big shakeups here. We have somebody who was number 1 way down at the bottom of the list. They're struggling. They can't figure things out. So sitting at number 10, I have Southern Justice. This team is done. I know a couple weeks ago I hit the nail in the coffin on them, and I still think so. The quarterback situation is abysmal. They drafted 4 quarterbacks, and now they don't have 1 healthy guy. I don't know what exactly happened in that matchup. The owners are really struggling to find out who the great players are and who is able to stay healthy. They end up trading away Lamar Jackson. Look what happens. Matt Ryan goes down with the injury. Patrick Mahomes goes down with the injury. So at one point they were so strong on quarterbacks, and now they're hitting the free agency market as they're scrambling. I think word in that office is they're saying they're okay. They're able to maintain their players, and they're just reloading right now, getting ready for this upcoming week. They're not worried about it, but I think this is a big concern, and I don't expect much out of Southern Justice. Number 9, congratulations, Anton. You move up a spot. You've really been terrible this whole season, but you got yourself a win. Keep going. You pretty much got to win out if you want to get to the playoffs. So, do what you can, and we wish you the best of luck. It's in number 8. This was last week's number 1 team in fantasy football. I have the Mud Dogs. The Mud Dogs are slipping. They've lost 3 games now, and right now they're sitting outside of the playoffs. This is a team that I thought was going to be able to dominate this league once again, and they made a trade 2 weeks ago, and they've dropped 2 straight. I don't think that they're sitting good, and I don't think they're going to win this week either. So I see the Mud Dogs slipping. I don't see them as that team that we thought they might be. Number 7, I have Inglorious Staffords. They're piecing together a few wins here and there. They're not looking too bad. They're tied for that final spot in the playoff race, still sitting on the outside bubble. But it's exciting. We'll see exactly what happens with them. Number 6, Y-Town Killer Bees. I know this might be surprising. I have them so low, but I have them low for a reason. It's because I do not trust this team. They've got 4 wins. They're sitting pretty good. They're sitting in the number 2 spot in the division, and they're sitting there pretty comfortably. But I don't think that they are going to be able to sustain this long term. I know, he's crying out saying that he should be higher in the power rankings, but hey, the power rankings are not the standings. If you want to look at the standings, click the standing tab. If you want to come for the power rankings and what's actually happening on the league, you click these videos, you watch what's happening, and you get my input. That's what this is. I'm not going to sit here and just read off records because there's no point in that. This is the power rankings, and I don't think you have what it takes to be up in that top tier. And keep winning games. Prove me wrong. I'd like to see it, but I just don't see it happening for you. Number 5, I have Team USA. They're playing very well. They've taken off some top competitors, but once again, they beat We Don't Kneel this past week, and that was mainly because Christian McCaffrey was out and they had some other players on a bye, so I don't really know what this team is made of because they're a very low-scoring point team. I think second lowest in the league, so I don't think they're going to be able to continue to put up high numbers and continue winning games, but once again, we'll see if they're able to make moves and make that strong playoff push. Number 4, I have the Patricia Militia. I believe last week I had them sitting in the number 5 or 6 slot, and they put together a nice win against a one-loss team at the time at Hotel Motel Galladay Inn. They also had some guys on a bye, and they were able to squeak out a victory, so congratulations to them. I know a lot of the weight was put onto Marvin Jones, but hey, that's what you do in fantasy. You put players in a position to win you the games, and when they do, you look like the hero, and it's great, so thank you, Marvin Jones, for that. This is going to be a strong team. I know they're sitting on that bubble too of whether they're in the playoffs or not, and right now they're sitting in that final spot in the East Division, but I think this team is going to continue to win games and go far in this playoff. Number 3, I have Shirtless Pete Carrolls. I know they've dropped a few games here, and they lost this past week, and I believe they moved up after a loss or stayed around the same position. But I think that this is a strong team, especially because Russell Wilson is playing so well and that Seattle offense. And Zeke, Zeke's a powerhouse. He's going to continue to put up points as Dallas is such a strong competitor. And I think this team's going to do well. I think they're going to secure the number 1 spot in the West Division. That's what I see. And I look forward to seeing if I'm right in that spot. Number 2, I have Hotel Motel Galladay Inn. I know I said this team is kind of slipping. They've lost 2 straight to teams that they said that they were going to have no issue to, but they still got a lot of guys are putting up points, and they only have 2 losses to this point. I think this is a solid team. My number 1 team this week is Outer Space We Don't Kneel. This team puts up points. They had an off week, I know, but this team absolutely puts up points, and I trust this team. I think they've showed week in and week out they have what it takes to compete in this league and can compete for a title. So, real quick, I'm going to give you the updated standings in the East Division. Number 1 spot, we have Outer Space We Don't Kneel sitting at 2 losses. We have Y-Town Killer Bees with 3 losses, and the Patricia Militia with 4 losses sitting in that number 3 spot in the division. Those are your playoff teams within the East. In the West, 3 playoff teams are Hotel Motel Galladay Inn, the Shirtless Pete Carrolls, and Team USA. It'll be exciting to see what happens this week. Speaking of this week, I've got 3 updated games for you that I think are going to be exciting. The first game is Outer Space We Don't Kneel versus Hotel Motel Galladay Inn. This is exciting because one of these teams 2 weeks ago, both of these teams 2 weeks ago were undefeated. And after this week, one of these teams is going to drop 3 straight games. A big whirlwind for one of these teams. It's inevitable. You're going to lose games in this league, and one of them is going to drop 3 straight and maybe even drop to second place in the division. So it'll be interesting to see that. In this game, I like Outer Space We Don't Kneel. I think they're going to put up points. I think Hotel, you're going to drop 3 straight. Sorry, Jake. Second game of the week I really like is the Patricia Militia versus the Shirtless Pete Carrolls. Pete Carrolls are favored by 20 points, but I think the Militia made some moves this week with some injuries. They lost Kerryon Johnson, and I think the Militia are going to actually win this game by a few points, but we're excited. We'll see exactly what happens. Evan, good luck to you. Third game of the week I look forward to is the Mud Dogs versus Southern Justice, and I am telling you, I think Justice is favored by a point, but this is going to be a slaughter fest. I believe Mud Dogs is going to win by over 45 points. Mark it here. I'm telling you, book it, sell the farm, sell all your cars, sell your family's cars. I'm telling you, Mud Dogs are going to win by over 45 points. This is not going to be a contest. I'm excited for this game, and we'll see exactly what happens this week as we move closer to Week 13, which is the end of the regular season. We're excited for playoffs, and we'll see what teams are going to be able to compete within the playoffs. I appreciate you all listening. Once again, my name is Austin Elliott, and I'm happy to be your commissioner. We're feeling good. Patricia Militia coming off of 2 straight victories, so salute us. And the Lions here got a big game against the Giants. They got to bounce back, and we'll see exactly what happens. I appreciate you all. Thank you, and go Lions.